Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're really sharpening our focus on a crucial part of postgraduate entrance exam prep, vocab. We're looking at Day 20, Unit 6, 13-26C, Part 2 from your materials, and we're going to, really dig into these words.
Absolutely, because a strong vocabulary, it's not just about passing the test, is it? It's fundamental for understanding complex texts and communicating effectively later on.
Totally. And this section has a great mix words about nurturing, imagination, style, emotions. Quite a range.
It really is. These are tools you'll definitely need, both for the exam and, well, beyond in your studies.
So our mission today isn't just memorizing definitions. We want to explore the nuances, see how they work in context, especially those tricky exam sentences.
Right.
And hopefully give you some better ways to make these words stick. Okay, let's jump in. First word, rear. This one does a few different jobs.
It really does. You've got the noun, the back part of something, like the rear of a car. Then the adjective, describing something at the back, rear wheels, rear door.
Right.
But the verb, that's where it gets interesting. It means to bring up, to raise, like children or animals, or even sometimes to breed.
Exactly. And the material gives that example. She reared a family of 5 on her own. Clearly means brought them up. Now, that true exam sentence is interesting. Nothing gets people talking like the suggestion that child rearing is anything less than a completely fulfilling, life-enriching experience.
Yeah, see how child rearing, the noun phrase, comes directly from that verb rear? It's the whole process.
It really highlights the concept, and you could get tripped up if you only think of rear as back, couldn't you? You'd miss the whole point about raising kids.
Precisely. That connection is key. Misunderstanding that could really throw off your interpretation of the sentence in an exam context.
Okay, so quick examples. You could say, check the rear view mirror.
Right, looking behind.
And also, we need to rear these seedlings carefully indoors before planting them out.
See, back versus nurturing. Totally different but linked.
Okay, next up, cultivate. This one feels like it starts with farming, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. Literally tilling the land, planting things. That's the root.
But it expands from there.
Oh, definitely. Figuratively, it's about nurturing something, helping it grow gradually. Could be skills, habits, relationships, even a taste for something.
Ah, okay. So like cultivating soil, you cultivate, I don't know, an appreciation for art.
Exactly. And you get related words like cultivation, the act itself, and cultivated as an adjective.
Right. That can describe land, but also a person, someone refined.
Precisely. Someone with good manners, maybe well-read, as if their social graces or intellect have been carefully tended,
Okay, the examples. The land here has been intensively cultivated. Straightforward farming. The people cultivate mainly rice and beans. Still farming, but what about you need to cultivate good study habits?
That's the figurative sense, developing those habits over time. Or they cultivate rare orchids. That's both literal growing and implies careful nurturing.
So a cultivated person, it's more than just politeness.
I think so. It often suggests a deeper refinement, maybe an understanding of culture, arts, literature. A well-developed mind, perhaps.
Makes sense. Okay, let's move to breed.
Breed? Right. Noun and verb again. As a noun, it's pretty simple. A type or kind. A breed of dog, a breed of cattle.
Got it. And the verb.
2 main strands here. One is mating and reproducing, usually animals. Farmers breed livestock.
Okay.
The other is more like raising or nurturing animals or plants for a specific purpose, breeding them for something.
Like the example, the sheep are bred for their wool.
Exactly. Contrast that with the other example. He represents a new breed of politician.
Right, that's using breed as a type or category of person, not reproduction.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So context is everything. Are we talking about a specific kind of thing or the act of reproduction and raising?
How would you spot the difference quickly in an exam?
Look at the surrounding words. Animals, plants, the idea of raising or producing offspring. Probably the verb, phrases like anew, or descriptions of types. Probably the noun. It's a whole different, breed of meaning.
Ah, good one. Okay, next. Foster.
Foster. Another verb with sort of 2 related meanings.
Which are?
Well, first, it can mean to promote something, encourage its development, like fostering innovation or fostering understanding.
Okay, like helping something grow.
Right. But it also has that very specific meaning of caring for a child, often temporarily, when their own parents can't. Foster parents fostering a child.
Yeah. The examples show that. Such programs aim to foster entrepreneurship. That's the promoting sense. And They decided to foster a child. That's the caring for a child sense.
You see it used more broadly, too, like fostering a love of reading or even fostering a rescue animal, encouraging something positive or providing care. Two distinct but connected ideas.
Got it. Keep both meanings in mind. Okay, how about nourish? Sounds related to growth, too.
It is. Nourish is about providing what's needed for growth, health, and good condition. Most obviously, food.
Like nourishing the body with a good meal.
Exactly. But it works figuratively, too. You can nourish someone's talent, nourish an idea, nourish the mind with knowledge.
Okay, like the examples. By providing challenging projects, we nourish the intellectual development. Figurative.
Right.
And a balanced diet helps to nourish the body. Literal sustenance.
So think physical nourishment, but also intellectual, emotional, or creative nourishment. Mentors nourish potential. Good soil nourishes plants.
Clear. Now, flourish. That sounds positive.
Very. To flourish means to grow or develop successfully, to thrive, to prosper. Think of a plant in perfect conditions, really flourishing.
Like the example, the arts began to flourish during the Renaissance, a period of great growth and success.
Exactly. Now, that exam sentence is interesting. Helping forests flourish as valuable carbon sinks may require reducing their capacity to absorb carbon now.
That does sound odd. Reduce absorption to help them flourish?
Yeah, it's likely about long-term health. Maybe absorbing too much carbon too quickly isn't sustainable for the forest ecosystem in the long run. So managing that absorption rate now could allow the forest to remain healthy and flourish as a carbon sink for a much longer time. It's thinking long-term thriving.
Okay. That perspective makes sense. Sustainable flourishing. And we definitely shouldn't confuse flourish, F-L-O-U-R-I-S-H.
Right, completely different. Flour is the powder for baking.
Yep. Noun for the powder, or sometimes a verb, like to flour surface before kneading dough.
We need flour for the cake. He floured the rolling pin. Nothing to do with thriving.
Remember, F-L-O-U-R helps your bread rise. F-L-O-U-R-I-S-H helps you rise.
Love it. Okay, feedback. Crucial in learning.
Absolutely essential. Feedback is simply information or opinions about something you've done, usually aimed at helping you improve.
Like getting feedback on an essay from a tutor.
Precisely. Or the exam sentence. If you're not sure, ask for honest feedback from trusted friends. It highlights actively seeking that input. Whether it's praise or criticism, feedback is how we learn and adjust, right?
Exactly. We appreciate your feedback. Can you give me some feedback on this? Very common, very important.
Okay, shifting gears into the imagination. Fantasy.
Fantasy. As a noun, it's about the imagination, often creating things that are unreal or whimsical, daydreams, stories with magic.
Like the example, he dismissed the idea as a mere fantasy. Something impossible.
Right. But the exam sentence adds a layer. On display here are various fantasy elements whose reference seems to be the natural world.
So even fantasy often borrows from reality.
Often, yes. Think of mythical creatures. They combine real animal parts in unreal ways. So the elements might be grounded in reality, even if the combination is pure fantasy.
And the adjective fantastic
Can mean two things, really. Sometimes it means strange or unrealistic, like a fantastic scheme.
Okay.
But more often now, it just means excellent, wonderful. That's a fantastic result.
So context is key again. He lives in a fantasy world versus we had a fantastic time. Very different.
Very different. Now, related but distinct. Illusion.
Illusion. How's it different from fantasy?
An illusion is more about a false perception or a deceptive appearance, something that tricks your senses or your mind into seeing or believing something that isn't actually true.
Like a magic trick. Or the example, mirrors create an illusion of space.
Exactly. Or the other example, I don't want to have my illusions shattered, meaning I don't want my false beliefs proven wrong. The adjective is illusory, deceptive, not real.
So fantasy is created in the mind, maybe not meant to be real. Illusion is a misinterpretation of reality.
That's a good way to think about it. A mirage is an illusion. A story about dragons is a fantasy. The idea of easy guaranteed success might be illusory.
Got it. That helps clarify. Next, illuminate.
Illuminate. Primary meaning. To light something up, shine light on it.
I like the moon illuminating a path.
Exactly. But the figurative meaning is just as important. To make something clear, to explain it, to shed light on a complex topic.
Like the example. This research aims to illuminate the causes, making the causes clearer.
Precisely. Streetlights illuminate the road. Good explanations illuminate difficult concepts. Both are about increasing clarity, visually or intellectually.
Okay. Now for fancy, this one feels a bit whimsical.
It can be. It's quite versatile. As a verb, it can mean to think or imagine something, often incorrectly, like she fancied she heard a noise.
Okay.
It can also mean to want or feel like having or doing something, much more common in British English, like, do you fancy a coffee?
Ah, right. Like, I fancied a change. I wanted one.
Exactly. As a noun, it can mean imagination or desire, a whim. And as an adjective, it means elaborate, decorative, maybe luxurious or expensive.
Like a fancy dress party or a fancy restaurant.
Spot on. Or he has some fancy ideas.
Yeah.
Maybe clever, maybe overly elaborate. So you have to catch the specific use from context. Is it wanting, imagining, or describing something elaborate?
Lots of possibilities there. Okay, fashion. We mostly think of clothes.
That's the main noun meaning, yes. The current popular style, especially in clothes, or the whole industry itself.
Like the exam sentence talks about the fashion industry and its problems.
Right, but don't forget the verb. To fashion means to make or shape something, often skillfully or creatively.
Like the example, she fashioned a pot from clay, made it.
Exactly. Or you might fashion a solution to a problem. And of course you get fashionable, unfashionable, old-fashioned, relating back to the noun sense of trends.
Right, so making something versus the trend itself. Got it. How does style relate to fashion?
Style is broader, I think. Fashion often refers specifically to trends, especially clothing, that come and go. Style is more about a distinctive manner or way of doing something. It could be writing style, architectural style, personal style. It feels more enduring sometimes.
Ah, so fashion is part of style, maybe? Or a type of style?
You could see it that way. Your personal style might be fashionable, or it might be classic or unique. Style is the overall way. Fashion is often the current trend within certain areas, like clothes.
Okay, examples help. I like your style, your way of being, rooms decorated in a modern style. That makes sense.
And as a verb, to style means to design or arrange something in a particular way. Style your hair, style a photo shoot.
Got it. Next. Genre. Very academic word.
Very useful for categorization, yes. A genre is just a type or category, especially for artistic works. Literature, film, music.
Like science fiction, romance, horror, those are genres.
Exactly. Or in music. Classical, jazz, rock.
Hmm.
In literature, poetry, drama, novel.
Hmm.
The examples mention films covering different genres, and that exam sentence talks about a specific genre of poetry, the personal, performative kind.
So it's just a way to classify creative works based on shared characteristics.
Pretty much. What genre of books do you prefer? What's your favorite film genre? Common questions.
Okay, now moving into some emotion-related words. Dignity.
Dignity, a really important concept. It's about inherent worth, self-respect, being worthy of honor, maintaining composure and seriousness.
Like the example, she accepted the criticism with quiet dignity, maintaining self-respect under pressure.
Exactly. And that exam sentence is quite thought-provoking. Loss of dignity displayed through a cheesy grin
Yeah.
suggests that how you present yourself affects perceived dignity.
Yeah, that superficial expressions might undermine it. Makes you think.
Fundamentally, it's about treating people and oneself with the respect they deserve, maintaining dignity in difficult times.
And flowing from that, sometimes people feel indignant. What's that?
Indignant is an adjective. It means feeling angry or annoyed because you think something is unfair or unjust. It's a kind of righteous anger.
Ah, so anger linked to unfairness. Like the example, they were indignant at his remarks. They felt his remarks were unfair.
Precisely. The noun is indignation, that feeling of outrage at injustice. The rise in fares aroused public indignation.
So if you see something unfair happen, you might feel indignant.
Exactly. She was indignant about the false accusation. It's anger, but specifically tied to perceived unfair treatment.
Okay, and then there's just pure rage.
Yeah. Rage is much more intense. Uncontrolled, violent anger. As a noun, the feeling itself. As a verb, to be furious, or for something like a storm or fire, to continue violently.
Like, he raged against the injustice, expressing intense anger, or the blizzard was still raging, continuing fiercely.
Right, and the exam sentence used outraged, which is closely related. Learning a slacker colleague got a bigger raise might make you outraged.
So outraged is like extreme indignation, maybe. Very strong anger caused by something shocking or unfair.
That's a good way to put it. Outrage, noun, can also mean the shocking act itself. The public felt outrage. He was filled with rage. The fire raged for days. Intense stuff.
Definitely. Let's switch to something nicer. Hospitable.
Yes. Hospitable means friendly and welcoming, especially towards guests or strangers. The noun is hospitality.
Like the example, the local people are very hospitable. They welcome visitors warmly.
Exactly. Or a hotel known for its great hospitality. It's about making guests feel welcome and comfortable.
A very positive trait. They were incredibly hospitable hosts.
Made you feel right at home.
Okay, now the opposite end. Brutal.
Brutal. This means savagely violent, cruel, or extremely harsh. It can be physical violence, but also emotional or verbal harshness.
Like a brutal regime using force.
Yes. Or the other example, with brutal honesty, she told him, meaning harsh, direct, perhaps unkind honesty.
So it implies a lack of compassion, extreme harshness.
Definitely a brutal attack, a brutal critique. It's strong and negative.
An oddly similar sounding bruise.
Yes, the sound is close. A bruise is that mark on your skin from getting hit, where blood vessels break underneath. Noun for the mark, verb for getting or causing one.
He had a bruise on his head. She bruised her arm.
Right. And you can bruise fruit easily, too. Careful not to bruise the apples. Maybe the link is that something harsh or impactful causes both brutality, action, and bruises. Result. Bit of a stretch, but maybe helpful.
Could be. Okay, next word. Shrewd.
Shrewd. This is a positive adjective. It means having sharp judgment, being astute, clever, perceptive, especially in practical matters.
Like a shrewd business person. Someone who makes good deals.
Exactly. Or the example, she is a shrewd judge of character. She understands people well. He was too shrewd to be taken in, too clever to be fooled.
So smart and perceptive in a practical way. A shrewd move. Shrewd questions.
That's it. Now stern.
Stern. This feels serious.
It is. Stern means serious, strict, perhaps severe or disapproving, often used about people in authority or their expressions or words.
Like a stern teacher or a stern warning.
Precisely. Her mother appeared, looking very stern. His voice was suddenly stern. It implies firmness and lack of leniency.
Okay. Strict and serious. Now, diligent, a quality we hope students have.
Absolutely. Diligent means hardworking, careful, and conscientious in one's work or duties, showing perseverance. The noun is diligence.
Like a diligent student or a diligent worker, someone who puts in careful effort.
Exactly. Myers is a diligent and prolific worker. Her diligence paid off in the results. It's about consistent, careful, hard work.
A very admirable quality. Next, orient.
Orient. Okay, as a noun, historically, the Orient meant the East. But the verb is more common now.
And what does the verb mean?
A few things. To find your position, like using a map to orient yourself. To adjust to a new situation, hence orientation programs for new students.
Oh.
Or to direct something towards a particular goal or focus.
Like the example, we run a commercially oriented operation focused on commerce. Or our students are oriented towards science. Their focus or inclination is towards science.
Exactly. And orientation as a noun reflects these meanings. Direction, focus, aim, or the introductory adjustment process.
Okay, so finding direction, adjusting, or focusing. Got it now. Horizon.
Horizon. Literally, it's that line where the sky seems to meet the land or sea.
The sun sank below the horizon. Classic image.
Right. But figuratively, it's about the limit of your knowledge, experience, or ambition. Your perspective.
Like the phrase, broaden your horizons.
Exactly. Traveling, learning new things, these activities broaden your horizons, expand your understanding and perspective.
So the literal line and the metaphorical limit of vision or understanding. Okay, last one. Readily.
Readily, a useful adverb. It means easily, quickly, willingly, without difficulty or hesitation.
Like the example, all ingredients are readily available, easy to get.
Precisely. Or, he readily agreed to help. He agreed quickly and willingly. Information is readily accessible online.
Simple, but useful. Okay, great run through. Now let's try that scenario to postgraduate applicants chatting about studying.
Good idea. Let's see how these words fit naturally.
Hey, how's the vocab prep going? Some of these words are taking a while to sink in.
Tell me about it. It's a slog. I find it helps to, really see them used. Like rear, I just thought back, but then that child rearing example.
Yeah, that threw me too. And cultivate, not just farming, but like cultivating skills. Who knew?
Right. I'm trying to get feedback on my practice essays pretty readily just to see where I'm going wrong. Have you managed to get any looked at?
Not properly yet. I'm trying to be diligent, but wow, it's time consuming, hoping my tutor can illuminate the weak spots soon.
Definitely worth doing. I was reading this article, different leadership styles, and it described one leader as really shrewd. Kind of helped that word click.
Oh, nice. I found this really dense paper history genre, and it used flourish, describing how some artistic movement really took off. Seeing it used like that helped.
See, context is everything.
Yeah.
Honestly, I sometimes have this fantasy where I just walk in and ace the whole exam.
If only. I know it's not an illusion, though the hard work should pay off. I just hope the examiners aren't too stern in their marking.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And hopefully they'll be, hospitable to different ways of arguing things, even if our vocabulary isn't always super fancy.
That worked really well. Felt quite natural seeing them pop up like that.
Yeah, you can see how they weave into conversations about study, opinions, all sorts of things.
Okay, so quick recap and maybe some memory tips. We covered nurturing words like rear, cultivate, breed, foster, nourish.
Imagination words like fantasy, illusion, plus eliminate, and fancy.
Words for style. Fashion, style, genre. Emotions, dignity, indignant, rage versus hospitable.
Right, the sound-alikes brutal and bruise. They're describing words shrewd, stern, diligent.
And finally, perspective and direction. Orient, horizon, and the adverb readily.
Memory tricks. Well, we had flour for baking, flourish for thriving. Maybe think of a stern person standing up very straight and firm.
Ooh, I like that.
A shrewd person sees through situations. And diligent people work carefully until the, end is in the word, sort of.
Those are great little hooks to hang the meaning on. The main thing, though, is practice, isn't it?
Absolutely. Use the words. Write sentences with them. Try to slip them into conversations. Look out for them when you're reading other English materials. Active use is key.
The more context you see them in, the more they'll become part of your own active vocabulary.
Exactly. And mastering this kind of vocabulary really does empower you. It lets you understand more complex ideas and express your own thoughts with more precision, vital skills for postgraduate study and, frankly, beyond. It genuinely helps broaden your horizons.
Well said. So maybe the final thought for everyone listening is, how can you consciously take these words you've explored today and integrate them not just for the exam, but to genuinely enhance how you communicate and understand things in your academic future? Something to think about. Thanks for joining this deep dive.